to see it.
I think a lot of people called that though. Like I know that's one of the things that even going into it, when they're like, oh yeah, there's gonna be an after credit scene. Like, oh, the after credit scene's obviously gonna be that Venom's gonna get put into the MCU, and pretty much that's kind of what they did. Like with Let There Be Carnage was not a bad film. Okay. At least not from Sony standards. The only issue that I had with it is I felt like, although the relationship between Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote has always been an important thing, especially in the comics, I felt like they played too much into that. They wasted too much time in an already rushed film, because the whole thing is like only an hour and a half long, and it's just bam, bam, bam. Like the pacing is wild. There's no stopping that film. Okay. But they just focused way too much on like this strained relationship between the two of them.
From what I saw on TikTok and the article that I read, they said that it plays out like a buddy comedy, like a buddy cop movie, where like there's always a moment where the buddies they're working together. Yeah, they're working together. They arguing with each other. They're constantly arguing. Then they break up. Then once they break up, they find out that they need each other in order to survive.
But now Woody Harrelson's performance is actually pretty good as Cletus, and the way they took it, especially with his relationship with Shriek, was great. It was just a shame that because it's this movie that it ended.
They kill people.
Oh well, no, not that. I mean, you had to. It's Carnage. If anything, there should have been more depth, and they should have kept to the rated R. But they were able to still pull off some pretty crazy stuff within PG-13, so it wasn't awful, it wasn't bad. But the fact that they just kill off Carnage and Cletus already by the end of the film, like you just got him, you just got Carnage, you just got Cletus Cassidy, and already dead. I can understand why they did it, but it's still kind of just like, oh, like we just got him. But yeah, so we were talking about the after credit scene. So the after credit scene is because of the fact that there's now a manhunt, because of all the destruction and death that both Carnage and Venom have basically wrought throughout the city with their fighting and everything else going on. And now that the police actually know Eddie Brock is Venom, there's a manhunt for him and all that other good stuff. So they're in this like dingy like hotel in the middle of nowhere. They're watching
Mexico. I saw the video. I saw the clip.
So I don't think it was Mexico, but they were watching a telenovela.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's my bias, thinking that okay, he's in Mexico.
So every Spanish-speaking country watches telenovela.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be like, oh, he's in Mexico because on top, because after watching Traffic, the movie, everything that takes place in Mexico, it has to be this orange tint. It has to show some type of desert or some type of floral. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, I believe. He was in. So
it had to be Mexico.
So it's Mexico. Have you ever seen Traffic? Have anybody?
He could have been in Costa Rica. He could have been in Ecuador. He could have been in Colombia.
No, so it was. I think it was some dingy not apartment, but a hotel in New York.
You know the hotel.
But it makes sense that it was Mexico because he lives in California. So
true. But you know the hotel looked like. Have you ever seen Nerds?
Yeah.
Remember the hotel that
Wait, Revenge of the Nerds?
That's what I was going to say. Okay.
Yeah. That hotel.
Yeah.
It looked like it was like that kind of vibe.
Because you had the fluorescent lights and everything. So they're both watching this telenova, and there's this whole thing where the woman reveals that she's pregnant, and the guy's just like, that's how it's always way over dramatic. And then they kind of have a conversation about it. And he's like, Venom's like, oh, well, he should just be more accepting of the guy's feelings. And then Eddie's like, whoa, she shouldn't have been keeping secrets. So they kind of have a little bit of a spat. And then he's like, you don't have any secrets, do you? And Venom's just like, man, I'm like billions of years old. I have a hive mind. I have plenty of secrets. You want to see some? And so Eddie's like, all right, cool. Let's do this. And as they're going to do it, everything around them kind of shifts and changes. And he's like, are you doing this? And Venom's like, no, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So literally his entire reality shifts. And now he's in like this really nice hotel. And the first thing they see on the television, of course, is J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spider-Man being a menace. Of course he is. And he's talking about the murder. So Venom sees that, and Venom throughout this film also has this huge hard-on.
I have a question. I have a qualm about that whole situation. So if this is part of the multiverse, meaning that, okay, so Eddie Brock, who was in the multiverse, the original universe with Spider-Man, never got Venom, none of that ever happened. But now he has Venom because from the Sony universe of Marvel, got transferred to the Disney universe of Marvel. So that means in turn, like we're over here sitting down right here. If that universe was to spill out into ours, multiverse, there's a possibility that you have a chance to become the person in another universe without even knowing it. but you'll still have the conscious from your previous universe.
Well, the question is, what happens to the Eddie Brock from the Tom Holland universe?
Well, if they do it anything like the comics, he's still there.
So they get switched over?
They don't get switched over.
But
they can interact with each
Yeah.
other. Like Spider-Man interacts with the other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like in the
So then that hotel that he's in then was the original Eddie Brock in that hotel?
No, it was actually after seeing that.
So the hotel just changed.
Yeah, so it's like everything kind of changed. So you don't even know if it's. That's why I said I think it's in New York, because then he's just when it shifts, he's in a location.
He can't be in New York because I told you it was an orange tint. You can't be north and they have an orange tint on the screen. It's impossible. There's no sun in the north.
Well, you got to remember.
I'm just telling you, this is how
what
movies
he's saying
work,
is, he
bro.
goes, California cinematographers like the orange tint, and the New York cinematographers like that blue.
They don't. Have you ever seen Twilight? Me neither. But I know for a fact from what I watched, everything is blue.
Yeah.
Because it's up north.
It's in the Northeast.
Yeah. So everything is like
the
from
New
Texas.
England.
Yeah, everything from Texas on down is orange. Everything is orange
warm.
tint. Yeah, it has to be warm. How would you know that you're in Texas? You need to make everything warm. Boom. And it had an orange tint. And he was wearing a floral shirt. A floral shirt.
Wait, did he have the floral shirt after everything changed?
So
Like
his
the
attire
surrounding-
didn't change. The surrounding changed though. So the surroundings seemed a lot more tropical than what it was where he was before. Because where he was before, that's why I thought New York, because he had the neon lights. Because that's where the lighting came from, with the neon lights pouring in through the window. Because of course he had to have the crappy hotel room that was right next to the big sign. But then everything shifted to a more tropical kind of locale. I could have sworn you could see like even the beach from outside the window, something like that.
Yeah, it did change that you see the beach. So he couldn't be in New York. Couldn't be. Yeah, because the view got better.
Yeah, it got a lot better though. It was a lot nicer. Because then the funny thing is, the guy actually was, I guess, renting out that room. Came out and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And Eddie Brock's kind of just like, "I don't even know. I don't have an explanation." Because he didn't even know why I was there. But what's crazy is, so that's kind of confirmation. But now, because of Morbius, it's not quite a confirmation, especially because all the nonsense they're talking about with the future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man and how that's somehow now back up in the air again, even though I thought they resolved that months ago.
But even that controversy is just because Tom Holland just said something saying that, this might be the end of his
It was probably taken
Spider-Man.
out of context, too.
Yeah, it was, because he didn't say that specifically.
But he signed a deal of just 3 movies.
Yeah. But I think that's what he was talking about. He was saying this Spider-Man might be like the end of a trilogy or something. He alluded to that point. That's what people got from it. And
but that's just the end of that trilogy. That
Yeah.
means he's not going to continue in other things. But that's what made it. That's what kind of muddied the water so much, because now originally everybody thought, all right, this is definite confirmation that Venom's in the MCU. But now you got this Morbius trailer, which is also supposed to take place in the same universe as Venom, because he even has the reference where he's just like, "Who are you?" And Morbius is like, "I'm Venom." No, I'm just kidding. I'm Michael Morbius.
Yeah, that's
So,
bro. That felt like, you saw the trailer. You saw
Not the new one. No.
not the new one.
yeah,
He said it, but it felt like it was thrown in.
But who says I'm Venom?
Morbius.
So when he kind of shifts into a somewhat vampire form,
Jared
it's like
Leto.
But-
He's the one who said that shit.
But you're saying that because of that reference, this is going to be in the MCU as well, or
No, so that's what made it less confirmed.
They made it more like
they muddied the water, because that entire trailer was
because
was
I
so
understood
confusing.
Morbius is in the Venom universe.
That's
But
what makes it really confusing. Then at the same time, again, he makes the reference to the whole Venom thing. He's like, "I'm Venom." He's like, "I'm just kidding. I'm Morbius." And then also you have
it's
Oscorp.
Dr. Morbius.
Yeah.
And he shakes the guy's hand, kind of shit.
But then you also see a building that shows
stupid, man.
Oscorp, but the problem is the Oscorp building uses the same font, the same style, and it even looks the same as what it was in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So, I guess we would have to watch No Way Home to see really what's going to happen, because it
make
almost seems
all this
like
make
they're going to
sense.
consolidate all this. But now everybody's thinking what this means is when he jumped over universes, he just jumped into a new consolidated Sonyverse, not the MCU. Because everybody saw that and they're like, "Oh, it's MCU confirmed," because that scene was literally at the end of Far From Home, which is an MCU film. So that's why this whole Morbius nonsense kind of just made things what once was clear is now just like, what is really going on here? So now there's rumors that, no, this is them establishing their own Sony Spider-Man universe. Because apparently Spider-Man's going to, at least Tom Holland's Spider-Man is no longer going to be part of the MCU. Those are the rumors. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, but Sony has the rights to Spider-Man,
yes.
right? Yeah. So you like Marvel can't even possibly do like a even if they wanted to do like some type of like some variation of Spider-Man, like even
they could do Miles, and a lot of people are saying that's the route they're going to go.
How could they possibly do that? Because Sony has that too. They just did the Sony animation.
They did, but that's what's weird. Is supposedly they have some kind of agreement. I guess they're more focused on Peter Parker and some of his bigger villains than they are about Miles. Because there's also, remember, the reference to Miles that was in Homecoming.
Yeah, where Childish Gambino, Donald Glover plays Miles' cousin.
Sony still owns it. It's just that the way Disney would do is the way they do with all the other characters they don't own. They just pay the license. They got the money to pay the license.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They would, but they wouldn't go with Peter Parker because they're being a lot more like greedy about it. I don't want to say greedy, but they're more possessive. They are
being more greedy. They wanted more money. Remember, there was a time that they were going to back out of the deal.
But dude, that's because Disney can give up more money. They're not hurting it.
Is that want our name to be first?
And on top of that, they have all the merchandising rights, so they're still making bank off merchandising. So it's like you're trying to sit here and nickel and dime me when you have all this money that you easily pay out. You're just kind of just being spiteful about it. So then they were being petty back.